Hi everybody, this is On and I'm coming to you with this month's video. And this month I'm going to be talking about that power that is connected to humbleness. And humbleness is coming up a lot in our April codes, and I thought this is going to be a really good topic, especially after what I've been through the last few days. And I apologize if my energy is not 100%. I'm coming off of 4 days of being in bed rest, and have greatly appreciated the people who have been there for me, helping me out, which has been everywhere from friends to connections online to landlords, landlords doing things for me. And you know, this is such a powerful thing that we don't oftentimes look at, because I'm one of those people who don't show a lot of what's going on in my life. Like if you just look at me physically, you wouldn't expect that I deal with a lot of things that I deal with. And you know, this week was yet another humbling experience in life. It was another experience that kind of brought me, well, not just to my knees, but flat on my back for a while. And those that don't know, I live with over at least 30. I know of at least 30 I can mark off the top of my head physical issues. And I don't reside in them. I don't let them hold me back. I don't let them keep me from doing the things that I want to do, like writing the code journey and doing that work and being there for people. But I do have my days that are very challenging, and these aspects of embracing humbleness, most people are not going to come into that unless they've been through some pretty tough times in their life. And humbleness is really, in the realm of codes, is really about learning to take command of your life, and to take command from not a position of having to control everything, but from a position of really taking a look at what is important. It's getting down to realizing where sometimes what needs to happen is not necessarily what you want to have happen. I'm facing a lot of that now. At my age, there's points that I would like to be able to, you know, have a retirement of some point, but with that age limit getting pushed back further and further and further, you know, there's other things going on. And I've been humbled that, you know, if I had to, for some reason, I can't really just go out and get another job, and people look at me and they say, well, how can you do this traveling? How can you tour during the summer? How can you do those things if you have all of these health issues? Well, I have had to let go of a lot of things in order to have that. I have to do a lot of regular maintenance work. I've had to come into paying attention to where my boundaries are and learn not to over push it. I have to respect what my body can do. But at the same time, I don't believe that I ever have to live as a victim to anything that I deal with. And I think that has really set me apart from a lot of people out there, is that, you know, I just don't choose to be a victim to it. I stop and I look at, well, what can I do for this? What can I do for that? And a lot of times I can get through. You know, being self-employed at this point has been a huge value, because I can keep working and I can keep doing things, and I can do it at the way it works for me. You know, if I'm having a rough day, I don't have to write that day. These are the blessings I think about when I've been through what I've been through the last few days in particular. And so I just feel like when we get into these things, you know, we have to learn where are our boundaries. We need to know where do I ask for help? Where do I keep doing things myself? How do I find that line to not over push it? And so what happens is that humbleness, we get these experiences in life that create a humbling for us. And that humbling is really about, it's not there really to tear us down. It's to show us something that we're not seeing, that we can't understand otherwise. But once we understand it, then again, it allows us to maintain our self-sufficiency. It allows us to not have to turn our power over to people and things and situations. And some of the challenges I deal with in life through these at least 30 different physical challenges, some of them are very serious challenges. Some of them can take me out at any moment. Some of them are not that serious. I've been very fortunate that I've learned to manage a lot of things myself through nutrition, through good habits, through doing the things that my body needs me to do. And that has gone a long way. But that doesn't mean that I'm invincible. And I think at times, having to deal with these things throughout my life, it has led me to really take a look and say, okay, I've maybe gotten a little careless along the way at times because I felt like I should take advantage of experiences while I can, because I never know from time to time, can I have this experience again, in a year from now, or 6 months from now, or even 2 months from now. And so I try to love and I try to embrace the opportunities that I can, but I also have to operate in very responsible ways. And so it's like, even when I tour, I don't have that leeway to get sick. I don't have that leeway to have something go wrong in there, because I never know how that's going to impact my body. I mean, something that I deal with on an annual basis is what I was dealing with the past weekend, and some small other little thing turned up and it created a fever for me, and then from there that triggered other things that I deal with, like relapsing multiple sclerosis, and then that set off several other things that I deal with. And so it's a challenge in these experiences, but learning these experiences, what happened is, in this last round, it showed me yet another piece of what I needed to do for myself, what's not functioning right in my body, what is not working well. And so, like for most people, you could get a little fever and then you're good, you're gone, your body bounces back really easily. Well, with my body, that doesn't happen. It takes me a long time to bounce back if I get even a little fever, and it's immobilizing to me, and I become light sensitive and all of these things. And so these aspects lead me over and over again to come into appreciation. And when we get these types of experiences in life, what they're trying to do is one, they're trying to teach us something. They're trying to show us what is off and what needs to be fixed. And so I'm definitely having to do some research right now to figure out how to deal with what's going on, what got triggered in this round. But at the same time, it's also showing us where we're pushing too hard. It's showing us where we're not honoring what needs to be done. It's showing us that we're not always invincible in life, even when we're taking care of ourselves, that life can be brought down in a second. And so it ties so much into appreciation. It ties so much into this aspect of valuing each and every moment that we have going on. Now, in codes, as I mentioned, the energy is about taking command of our life. and how to do that and to be in charge of our life. And when we get these humbling experiences, it's very easy for us to just turn our power over to somebody else, right? It's very easy for us to turn our power over and say, well, just give me a drug, just give me this, just give me that, which never solves anything. That only creates more opportunities for us to be brought down, to be humbled. And it shows us where maybe we're getting a little too cocky in things, where we're getting a little too overconfident about things, and that we need to have some other steps we need to take care of. And this is why every year I'm always integrating different things that I'm doing for myself. I'm always creating my routines that will help me out, that will nourish my body that much better. What's the next step I need to be doing in there? But when we also look at the way the energy flows for humbleness, is it always starts off with a really harsh challenge. It's like the really harsh proverbial storm, so to say, that comes in that can be very destructive. It's a situation, an experience that comes in that can be very destructive in our life if we allow it to, if we choose to be a victim. Again, that's where I've just never chosen to be a victim to anything, no matter what it is. And as a result of that, I've held on to my power, and that's probably why I've been able to manage to do the things I can. There's a lot of things that I can do once in a while, or I prepare to do for a certain period of time, but it's not something that I could do on a day-to-day basis. And so when we have that aspect and we have that experience show up, and it always starts with a really harsh experience. It always starts with something that is strongly connected within us somehow. And then that opens up to finding our strength. That experience is actually designed to help us find the strength within us, to understand what is interfering or weakening us. And so, it's just like if you have a lot of arrogance, then that arrogance is kind of standing in your way. It's breaking down your strength, is what it's doing. And so once your strength gets broken down, then what do you want to do? You want to turn your power over. But as you open up and tap into that strength, you then will be able to tap into the love that you have for the experience, the love that you have for yourself, the love that you have for life, the love that you have for others. It brings you into caring. It brings you into coming from the heart and working from that space. And when you work from that space, that will help to see you through whatever the experiences are that you are having. And then from there, it brings you into unfolding the love, because it brings out what you care about, and then it allows you to bring that love out through the heart for the situation. And once we can bring the love out through the heart, that's where we really start to break into, okay, I'm not in the invincible stuff, but I can get through this. And when we enter into that love, we now have the ability for healing energy to come in and work on the situation, work on ourselves, work on what is needed, work on what feels like it's been destroyed in our life, to give a new opportunity, a new life, a new awareness to come in. And from that, we can start to rebuild an aspect of trust. We can unfold the trust to know what is needed, trusting that we have the capability to face whatever it is that we're facing, and to address what needs to be addressed. So there is this responsibility piece which allows us to handle what needs to be done. And that then opens up more trust. So as we handle what needs to be done, then we have a stronger trust that is going on between our soul self and our human self, between ourself and others, right? Because some of these humbling experiences shows us who we can and can't trust at times. I find that out, and I think illness and I think injuries and a lot of these challenging experiences, you find out pretty quickly who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. And this is a huge thing. And then from there, it reconnects you with self, your core self, your true self, your soul self. It brings you back into realizing that you have to make yourself a priority. It doesn't mean that you don't care about other people. It doesn't mean that you're not concerned with what they're dealing with. But it does remind you that if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to be there for somebody else. So humbleness has this powerful flow to it that starts off very harsh, but in the end, it comes into this divine sort of connection with it. Everybody has their challenges. Everybody has their hardships in life. Everybody has experiences pretty much that will humble them. And I ask you to consider the power of humbleness, because there is so much power in it if you will embrace it, if you will embrace those experiences that lead you to be humble and to feel humble. And once you do that, you're going to find that many amazing things open up. And think about those people that you know who are really humble. And I can guarantee you they probably have a lot going on that you've never heard about, that you've never seen, that you've never known, that they dealt with. I know that's the case for me. There's probably things that even some of the people closest to me don't know that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, or is present and can come up at any time. And all we have to do is ask, again, are we going to be a victim to that situation? Are we going to allow it to shape us, to bring out that beauty, to reconnect us into the soul self? And even people like myself who are pretty conscious and living very much in the soul self, that doesn't stop you from having these experiences. And it doesn't matter how favorable your codes are. It doesn't matter, how great your income flow is. These experiences, they don't just, go by that. And so I ask you to also just be considerate, because those people that you think are some of the strongest people, they may be dealing with some of the hardest things in life. And there's a lot, again, that we just don't see that's going on. And some of the kindest, nicest people out there are the ones dealing with the most a lot of times. I hope you'll give some of this some consideration. I hope that you will take the time to reflect maybe even on the experiences that have humbled you in your life, and to consider how they shaped and led you to take additional steps that you needed to take, how that built trust or showed you who you could trust in your life, and consider where you took command of things and stayed in your own power, or where you turned it over. And as humbling experiences come up for you, that you remember you don't have to turn your power over. And that is so very important. And it's part of what allows me to heal over and over again. It's part of what really allows me to deal with the things that I deal with, that sit there, that can come up at any time and stop everything that I do. I don't live in that fear, and I don't live in worrying about when or if something's going to come. But I do recognize and acknowledge when I see things coming up that there are changes that have to be made. So embrace this power of humbleness. To become humble is to learn from our experiences. In codes, it tells us that it is about learning from our experiences so that we can lay the groundwork for what will be strong foundations moving forward, so that we use those experiences and they will help us to continue to make wise choices in our present and to embrace what the day has to offer. And as you have these experiences, that's one of the things you'll find. You more and more will just really embrace the smallest, simplest things and be grateful for those. And I know that that's gotten me through a lot. And no matter where my work goes or how much it grows, that just is not going to change. I'm going to continue to be humble. I'm going to continue to relate to people every way that I can along the way. And even if that means there are some things I have to give up or won't be able to do, maybe in a year or 2 years or who knows, that's okay. In the meantime, I'm going to keep doing what I can do. So that's it. I hope this content is useful for you. Go ahead and give the channel a thumbs up in there. Give it a like. Subscribe to the channel because there's great videos put out every month. I have daily ones that are short excerpts from the book, The Code Journey. And if you don't have a copy of that, just swing over to my website, compassioncodes.com, and you'll find a copy of it there. Take care, everybody.